Hey everyone, and welcome to the Karen Reed recap, day 21. And I think this will be one of the recaps I have to do a lot of takes on because I don't read scripts, I just talk what comes out of my head. And I've been trying this a couple of times now because Dr. Wilcher, the big, important potential final witness, who will now give us all the technical data that shows how John O'Keefe was hit by the Lexus at exactly that point in time that Dr. Burgess claimed was on the stand. First of all, there was a lot of discussion before we even got started. Alessi was peed off, y'all. We had a voir dire where Alessi was yelling at this guy because he changed his report. Why? Well, he kind of talked to Brennan, but man, he just felt like it. Again, another expert from this company, Aperture, who does things for free. They just got taken over by big money. I'm pretty sure big money wants a return on their investment. So if their experts are just doing stuff for free, how do they make money? Because that should be billable hours. But no, I just changed my report. And no, it wasn't to fit into any new narratives that just came out. It was just, yeah, well, he heard and read the report, but yeah, he just changed it. Middle of trial. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Just took out some slides and changed some text. It doesn't matter. But then he started testifying. And remember, this is the guy. He will tell you how John O'Keefe died. We haven't heard one single word about it yet. We spent about 2 hours discussing a three-point turn where, Dr. Burgess used the three-point turn to align the clocks. All of it's subjective. It's him saying, well, this match up with that. There's no way of proving it, but that's just my take on it. But he did the same, and he had a little video that showed, oh, she did a three-point turn. And then we get to what happened outside of Fairview 34. Trooper Paul last year told us at trigger event 1162, you can see exactly the half second where Karen Reed hits John O'Keefe. Because she's going at 24.3 miles per hour, dips down to 24.3 to 23.6 and goes back up to 24.3. I think those are the numbers. At the same time, she has a 6-degree left steering angle going to a 6-degree right steering angle, going back to a 6-degree left steering angle. These are 100% proof that Karen Reed hit John O'Keefe in trial 1. Trial 2. There's a new explanation. She sits idled, then she moves up 34 feet and reverses 53 feet. That's what 1162-2 what they call is what they call the triggering event now. That's what that shows you. When did she impact him? I don't know. How fast was she going when she impacted him? I don't know. Where did she? I don't know. He couldn't tell you how or when or anything about the impact to John O'Keefe because he had done multiple of calculations based on, I don't really know what, but said it was impossible to determine. So she hit him. You have to trust me, bro, but I can't tell you what, when, or anything about it. Is that an expert? But he ended up where he ended, and he most likely took some steps and then fell over backwards. And that's exactly how it happened, even though I can't tell you when, where it happened. Trust me, bro. She then speeds off doing 39.4 miles on average on the way back to Fairview, so she could make it. Trust me, bro. No triggering events happening at that point, funny enough, when she's going like a bat out of a certain hot place, doing turns and twists, but the car doesn't matter. Then he had done a 3D reenactment of her hitting the Traverse, and it couldn't have shattered the tail light. But that's not the question, because the defense never, ever claims that it shattered the tail light. This is one of those things that the Commonwealth has said they said. She said it cracked my tail light. Because if you remember the tail light, they built everything except 2 little strands of plastic in the middle. But it couldn't have hit it at all because it just slightly touched it. Bro, we saw the video. She moves the car. But he had a lot of 3D graphics that he overlaid. And again, as I've said with many other witnesses, all of the data he provided was the HUD assistant the magician uses to make you look over there. Because there was nothing definitive. There wasn't anything where you can say, oh, disprove it to me. I know to the jury who doesn't have the knowledge we have, it could sound really, really damning to Karen Read, but just to spoil the day for all the antis, Alessi hasn't had his time to cross-examine yet. So I would wait to Alessi, and he sounded peed off, as I said. He then did something that I found very distasteful, because he was trying to figure out if the injuries to John's arm could have happened in a side-swiping accident. And to figure that out, he dressed up like John, which I find highly prejudicial and shouldn't have been allowed. If you can do the rest of it in a 3D model, why couldn't you do that? He used some crash test dummies to throw backwards to see if the head could have those injuries. Why couldn't he have used a crash test dummy to do that? Why did he have to dress up as John O'Keefe? I would have objected. They probably objected. But again, Beverly Cannoni, yes. But his new theory, and he was really, really showing off, because he put blue paint on the tail light, and then he kind of walked into it and did a turn. So, oh, I got blue paint here, it'll align perfectly. Just did this. And then the car backed up with 2 miles per hour, and he also did a pirouette and showed, oh, I would get blue paint here. But if John is standing with a drink in his hand, when is the last time you were out drinking or at a barbecue and you had a drink in your hand and had it at this position? If I have a beer, I'll have it. Bender isn't that bendy. I would have it in front of me. That's how I normally, because I have a big gut, I kind of rested on the big gut. But this is where I hold my beer. But you need his arm to be in this position to get the bluation of the arm that he needed. So he has to have it like this. Why would anyone stand in the middle of the road with a glass in this position? And if the glass was in this position and getting slammed, how did it end up under his body? Don't worry about it. We don't get that exact. We tell you a lot of stuff, but when we get to ask questions about when or how, that don't matter. He also claimed, remember John had that hematoma on the side of his face at his right eye. He claimed that while John was standing with his arm like this, he must have been bent over and gotten hidden in the face right above his right eye, with the spoiler on the car doing 24.3 miles per hour. And the only thing he had was a small contusion over his right eye, a cut on his nose, and some damage to his orbital bone. He takes a direct hit, but at 24.3 miles per hour by an object weighing 7,300 pounds, and nothing happens. His face doesn't get ripped off. His head doesn't break the neck. No. He just has an abrasion above his eye. And then we go on to what happened then. Well, we never get to... Well, John falls flat on his back. Every little video thing he did with the blue paint showed that he would have been in motion getting hit. If he continues in motion, how does he do a flat bump that destroys the back of his head? Because if he is spinning out of control, he would have his movement would continue when he hits the ground, so he would be bumping. But you have to believe Dr. Welcher, the big important expert who can't tell you when, other than somewhere within these 5-10 seconds, she hits John O'Keefe. He got slapped on the arm, hit in the face, sent spinning. At some point, he just stops spinning and falls over, lands on the ground, and gets a head injury. That big tear he has in the back of his head is actually really, really common, even though no such things exist if you look for it on the internet, because that's a hat line injury. That's when you have your hat on and it scrapes up. So it's not a skin tear done by impact or anything, even though I believe Scotty Bellows said that. No, it's when your hat lands on the ground and it'll rip your skin off. This was the big, important Commonwealth expert. I almost feel sorry for what we're going to see today, because Brennan has a few more questions, and then it's going to be Alessi time. And I can't predict the future, but I just know when Brennan got to Dr. Burgess, oh my God, that wasn't nice. So do I think that Alessi is going to be nice to this guy? He was peed off yesterday, y'all, and I don't think you want to peed off Alessi.
It's Alessi, the master of the mind game. Whispers